All right, we're gonna try it this way. All right, we'll try it this way. Cause the other way, it keeps kicking me out of the YouTube app in the middle of me recording this. So hopefully this works better. So, Leprechaun 4 in space. You know, it becomes this like when a franchise seems to be running out of steam, they say, where do we take it now? How about space? In most cases, like you're thinking about this, most cases, I'm gonna turn the light on because it's gonna. In most cases, it does sort of work because they can explain how it happens. Like Jason X, they explain that Jason and the technician lady, they get frozen and wake up in the future. And that's all space now. That's explained. Critters 4, critters are from space to begin with. The credits are from space to begin with, so it works to connect that into space. Even Hellraiser goes through a timeline that explains how they got to space. You know? It works. Here, Leprechaun's just in space. He's got this alien princess who he wants to marry because he wants to get her father's gold. Remember that. He wants to get her father's gold. He's interrupted by these space marines who show up, blow the fuck out of him. But before that, we get a Star Wars reference when he powers up a lightsaber. Okay. No. And then he gets blown up. We go from Star Wars reference to dumb joke. They blow him up, which doesn't kill him, of course, but they blow him up. And then the leader of the Marines, Space Marines, comes in. He looks around and he talks to the and you could see it coming from all the way. This guy picks up the dismembered hand of the Leprechaun, and the Sarge says to him, "Can you give me a hand?" And what does he do? He says, "Sure." Throws the hand at him. I do have positives for this though, and there's the lead actress, Jessica Collins. I think her acting is great. Her character is sort of this space bimbo. I mean, she's very smart, but they treat this character like she's a bimbo, especially the way they kind of disrespect her character in the end. She's the final girl. And when you have a final girl, she's supposed to be treated with respect. Like, she's supposed to be this pristine, even though there are some instances, like in Friday the 13th or Halloween, where she does like smoke pot, but the final girl there, she never has sex, except for maybe Ginny in part 2. But she's this very clean cut person, the final girl, and for what she is, this isn't space, I don't know, but 90s had a certain way of treating their women in a certain way. Like, take Wishmaster 3 and 4, for example. Especially, I think it's Wishmaster 4. You got this lead character, right? Who's trying to get back with her boyfriend, who's all, messed up. And she's, messed up from being in a wheelchair and everything. And she's all about trying to help him, but she still sleeps with the djinn. Huh? I'm just saying, 90s, maybe that was even during the 2000s, had a way of writing their female characters to where even Neve Campbell's character in Scream, I just thought of this, she has sex, and she's the final girl, but what Wes Craven did with her is respectful, even though she has sex with her boyfriend. In the end, she has a very respectable end, and she still comes full circle with that, where, and that's a great character. Here, the actress is very good with what she does, but there's a way that they treat her character in the latter part of this, and it's going to connect to my next positive character in this, and that's Styx, played by Miguel A. Nunez Jr. And anything that has Miguel A. Nunez Jr. and automatically gives, hey, The part with him in it is going to be better. Friday the 13th Part 5. The part with him in it is probably the best part of the movie. Return of the Living Dead. The movie's much better for having him in it. And this one, parts that he's in, pretty damn good. And there's a scene towards the end of the film. I'm not going to go in order here. I'm just going to pop it out. Where their scientist has mutated into a spider. I don't remember if the Leprechaun did it or if he was bitten by the spider and turned into this big mutated spider. But he has sticks all wrapped up in spiderweb stuff. And they're trying to figure out a password to put in to stop the self-destruct. So this main character lady, whose name I don't know, Jessica Collins, she's crawling through this tunnel or piping, whatever you call it, and it's like an air duct or something like that, a duct. And the spider grabs her pants and she keeps going and it rips her pants off, and you can see she has like a little thong thing on, and it's like she's just like that for the last 15 minutes of the movie. I understand that she's in the middle of space. She's in a crunch time situation. But you can't find like some pants or say stay skinny your pants or find some pair of pants somewhere. She literally, for the rest of the movie, for the last 15 minutes I think it is, no pants on, just underwear. Hey, I'm not against looking at a beautiful woman, beautiful half-naked woman. I'm not against that at all. I'm just saying it's very distasteful for the way they treated this final girl. And if you think about it, this is the fourth film in the franchise. Half the final girls were treated okay. Like Jennifer Aniston's final girl, Tori, she was treated great. Very good. She even saved the day, sort of. She was treated very great in that one. Bridget, for what her character did, even though there was a nude scene, it wasn't actually the actress, so that worked. And her character was treated very respectful. Like the third one, somewhat. I don't even remember her name, but you got her doing a little weird dance thingy, and really her character doesn't really do much other than get captured or do a sexy striptease dance, you know. So her character wasn't really bad to begin with, but here it's very disrespectful how they treat her character here. I want to mention Rick Peters, because that's the guy I was talking about in Aquaman, the TV pilot when I did my short-lived, and he was also in Smallville. The actor's name is Rick Peters, and he's in here. He dies. I think he's supposed to be the guy from Aliens, the game over, man, game over. I think he's supposed to be this film's version of that. Is it Hicks? No, not Hicks. I don't know, but it's supposed to be Bill Paxton, we'll call it. These Marines are basically cannon fodder for the Leprechaun to kill. And once again, I gotta point out Leprechaun's plan. His plan is to marry this princess so he can become king and get all her gold, her father's gold. But, once again, the whole flaw in his plan is focused on the part. It comes down to the part where he still wants his gold. That's fucked him up in the past before. Not so much in the first one, but the second one, where he had Bridget. He could get married to her, have the evil wedding, and he had what he wanted. But he let that slip through his hands because he needed to have his one piece of gold back. And even in the first one, he could have walked away, but he needed that piece of gold that Ozzy swallowed. And that guy comes full circle and on return. So I'm just saying. And then the third one, it's not so much messed up there because they have a reason why he's still sticking around. Because he wants his coin, but he doesn't have another purpose. He just wants his coin. That plot point works for the third one. Here, it makes no sense why he would still want to get his gold. He's going to have all the gold he wants from her princess's father once they get married. But no, he even has a spaceship ready to go. I have to have me gold. Why? There's a sequence towards the end of the film too, where he grows to a gigantic size. If he could do that, why didn't you do it before? You could have taken out. You could have ripped Ozzy apart and gotten your gold coin back. You could have tore through hell and high water. You could have destroyed that whole go-kart place, right? And gotten your coin back. You could have torn through the casino to get your coin back. If you can do that, why didn't you do it before? It's stupid how they write, oh, this is interesting, let's do this. 4 films in. And it pops the question in your head, well, why if you could do that, why didn't you do it before? And they alien him. How they defeat him is they shoot him out the escape hatch. Alien. That's how they defeat him. They copied Aliens. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of the first film. I like it. Aliens is far better in my opinion. But it's disrespectful. Same thing with the Star Wars reference. And I gotta mention the somewhat sex scene because it's a death scene. But it's so you have Deb Dunning in this, right? She was on Home Improvement. She was Heidi. Here, I didn't even recognize it was her until eventually once they got a close-up on her face. I'm like, oh, hey, it's Heidi. So, there's this scene. She's making out with this other space marine. They're making out. He takes one of her tops off because apparently she has 2. I don't know. I guess no nudity clause. It's fine. And she's making out with him. And then she's like, I'm gonna undo your pants. I'm like, okay. Sex scene, let's do this. And then she sticks his hand down his pants. And she's like groping in there. And he's going, ooh, I'm like, what is this? This is like the most disturbing sex scene I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of sex scenes in movies. This is so disturbing. It doesn't even get to the point of being a sex scene. It's just disturbing. Like, you see in movies sometimes where they indicate that their hand is in their pants. But they outright show you it's down his pants. And then, they don't horrifically show this, but it's implied that the leprechaun burst through his dick hole. And that's how he dies. That's how the guy dies. Burst through. And the leprechaun gets his line. He's famous for one-liners, but he says, you should have worn prophylactic. What? Why? What are we doing this? Why? What are we doing this? Why? What is this? Why? I don't know. One last thing I want to talk about is how the movie ends. It just ends. So, the guy shoots the leprechaun out into space. They're trying to figure out what the password is, and they say, wizard! They type it in, and they're all celebrating. She starts making out with not Sticks, but the other guy, the main character, which I was actually surprised to see that the African-American guy survived to the end. Like Miguel Nunes Jr., he survived to the end of Return of the Living Dead. I mean, they all died in the end of that, but I'm just saying, he survived there, he survived here. But, like, they start making out. Like, the blonde, or Jessica character, and the main Marine guy, they start making out. And then they point into space, and they show that the Leprechaun's on a bunch of pieces. The Leprechaun gives him the finger, and the guy says, right back at you, pal. They start making out. Credits roll. Just like that. There's no... you guys know from previous reviews, I don't like how we just end. Scream did that a lot. With the first one and the second one, how it just sort of ends. I don't like that. It just ends. There's no, like, oh, there's rescue coming. No, they're going to die in space? Is there someone coming to help them? Can they get out of there? No, just kiss, and that's it. Guys, this movie is one of the worst, but I have a feeling one or even both of the next two are going to be worse than this. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to the Hood ones. And I still have to find Leprechaun Ordinance. I have to figure out some way to review that because I can't find my DVD anywhere. It's a WWE produced film, so I took it out of the regular case and put it in its own little case, but I can't find it anywhere. But guys, I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna give it a 5. A 5 out of 10 for Leprechaun 4. So what are your thoughts on Leprechaun 4 in space? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And God help me, I'll see you in the next one.